When we're okay to go. So welcome everyone to the Community and Sports Committee 2025-04. In attendance in the room, we've got myself, Councillor Doyle, Councillor Antonelli and Councillor Madden. Online, we have Councillor Martin, Deputy Mayor Johnnick, and normally this committee meeting is chaired by Councillor Madsen, but because of personal reasons, he's online, but he's there to impart his knowledge on his own committee. So I'm just chairing it for the day. So thank you everyone for being here. We do have an apology from the Mayor, so I'd like to move a leave of absence for the Mayor, second by Councillor Antonelli. Any discussion on that? No, I move that the Mayor be granted a leave of absence. All those in favour? Councillor Martin? Johnny?
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Yep, affirmative.
Thank you. That's all online, that's affirmative. Thank you. Knowledge of country, I'll ask my colleague Councillor Antonelli.
Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as the custodians of the lands, winds and waters we all share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of a proud people.
Oh, thank you very much, Councillor Antonelli. We'll move on to, is there any declarations of interest in the matters on the agenda? Which there aren't any. Next business outstanding, we had nil from that. So we move on to the confirmation of the minutes of the Community and Sports Committee of the 22nd of April. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Any discussion? No? I'll put that, I'll move that. Sorry? Oh, sorry, Councillor Doyle. Yeah, Councillor Doyle. All those in favour? That's all of us in the room. Online, Councillor Martin, Councillor Deputy Mayor.
Affirmative.
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 Great. Well, everyone online is affirmative with that. So we move over now to the item 4, which is the report of this. We've got an advisory, no, sorry, I stand corrected. Item 3, I'm getting ahead of myself. Item 3, which is the community funding and support allocation status report from January 1st to the 31st of March.
Sorry, Chair, I think we're up to item 2, active and healthy program
Oh
annual
my
evaluation.
goodness, Councillor, Madsen, we need you in here. Sorry, let's go back. Let's rewind. Officers report, people. Item 2, active and healthy program annual evaluation. Do we have any questions for the relevant officer? No? Okay, so I'll move those recommendations. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Antonelli. Any questions? Any questions online? No? Okay. I'll move that. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's all in the room. And Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
Martin?
Affirmative.
Councillor Madsen?
Affirmative.
Great, that's unanimous and carried. Right, so now we move on to item 3, people. Item 3 is community funding support allocation status report from the 1st of January to the 31st of March. Would we have any questions for the relevant officer?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I've just got a couple of questions around funding I guess, in more particularly the councillor discretionary funds and the eligibility of PNCs, so our state school, or even private schools for that matter, the PNCs and their eligibility.
Okay, that's a great question. Do we have the relevant officer that up? Yep. Thank you.
Someone hasn't got
Just
their
let you know
microphone off, I think.
Is that on? Sorry. Sarah Shea, Senior Community Funding Officer.
Thank you. Just have a question around eligibility for funding for our PNCs. I know obviously we can't provide funding to the state schools themselves. They get that from the state government, but I am aware that our PNCs can be eligible. The criteria around it's got to be a benefit though, whatever they're doing to the wider community, not just their group.
Correct.
Could you just provide some context around that?
Certainly. So, yes, PNCs can apply, but they do need to show a broader community benefit and engage with the wider community, so not just the school community. So, for example, if they were doing, we've had groups doing Christmas festivals where they do invite the wider community. It's open to the public, not just the school community. We tend not to fund things that are infrastructure. We do believe that is the financial responsibility of the state government. Trying to think of other things. So we have had community gardens where community do come in as well and work on the gardens with them.
So a fundraiser by a PNC raising funds to buy equipment. And that fundraiser is at an event that's limited to the school community, ordinarily wouldn't qualify.
Correct, because it's just for the school community. If they were to engage the wider community to come in, which might be more advantageous to them anyway in raising funds,
Certainly something I'd like to give a little bit more consideration to, because I absolutely understand why we limit it, from a governance perspective. It's important to have that criteria there, but I do see some of our PNCs missing out, and they do great work for the local school communities. Perhaps that's just something we think about into the future.
Yeah, you're right, Councillor Doyle. I had the same, I grapple with that as well when I think there was one about a stage that came through recently, and I was like, oh, how is that?
That stage would have been for their multicultural festival, I believe, which is open to the wider community to come and...
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No, it wasn't a permanent fixture. It was like a hire of it.
Yes, it was a hire of the stage for the, like I said, multicultural festival, and the wider community were then invited to attend as well. It's not just for the school concert sort of
and
thing.
That's how that's how I tried to talk to the PNC. It needs to have a wider community, like the community, not the school, because the school is Education Queensland. So that's where you go for your funding. But if it's wider, okay, maybe we need to.
Thank you.
While you're there, I was just going to concur with Councillor Doyle, because obviously we've got, a number of the councillors have schools, primary schools, particularly in low socio-economic areas where maybe we need to reconsider, come up with some alternatives to assist those. The other thing I was just going to ask, with respect to your definition of what is the school community versus the broader community, is the school community just the children there, or is it, their families and everything that are associated with the school?
I would think it was the students and their families. So if it's only open to the students and their families, that's just the school community. Whereas if anyone in the community and even outside of that suburb, for instance, can come along, then that's open to the wider community.
So, and I'll give an example. If a school was to ask for some a contribution towards their fete, which is generally open to the broader community to come in, not just the school community.
Yes, if they can show it's open to the broader community, then
it might be considered if it meets the criteria.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll move that report. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Sorry. So discussion now, anyone?
Thank you, Chair.
you,
Yeah, I
Councillor
just raised that point around our PNCs, noting that I guess there are limited opportunities for them to successfully apply and receive funding given the test around wider community benefit. And I absolutely understand that criteria and what we're trying to achieve there, but I do wonder if there's room for movement. Some of our local schools heavily rely on the work that our PNC groups do to help fundraise. So, yeah, I do wonder if we should revisit that at some point. And I would argue also that, yes, it has to be of benefit to the wider community, but a school community isn't a small community either. It's not like it's only benefiting a tiny group of people, and I understand that's problematic from a governance perspective, but our school communities are quite large, I guess. Yeah, so we might...
Yeah, I do note, travelling around to the schools, talking to PNCs, and I wonder, a little bit more help. It seems to be a lot of them struggle to succeed, and you just think...
When you think about, I guess, further to what I was saying, when you think about wider community benefit and my comment that the school communities are quite large and not small, then I think about the eligibility for, let's say, a swimming club.
Yeah.
And yes, they will argue that membership is open to the community to attend that swimming club, but when you look at the actual membership base, it can be quite small compared to a school community. So that's the kind of thinking where I'm going with this. But yeah, we can, at first opportunity, certainly would love to have a discussion and maybe it's added to one of our briefing sessions, just a bit of an update for everyone on what the criteria is for the various different funding buckets. Before I finish, I just want to add another comment. There is money still available for councillor discretionary funds.
Correct.
The Mayor, I believe, shared to Facebook that there's a considerable amount of money left that needs to be used by end of June or 1st of June. So I strongly encourage our sporting groups and our community groups out there to apply, particularly the councillor discretionary funding that's available. That's for one application, $1,000 per councillor. So including the Mayor, clubs may be eligible for up to $9,000 for an application. So
Totally agree with you, Councillor Doyle. Yes. Councillor Antonelli?
Yeah, just on the first point that Councillor Doyle raised, just maybe a notice on motion to a degree, or a question on notice, I should say, rather than notice. Just when the policy in relation to the discretionary fund is due for review, maybe that is, if that's coming up soon, maybe that can be the impetus for some consideration to Councillor Doyle's point.
CEO?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just had the policy up. It's not due for review, but that's because our policies tend to be on a 4-year review cycle. But that doesn't stop a policy from being reviewed at any time, subject to any change in circumstances or consideration. So, very happy to add it to the briefings schedule for the next available opportunity. And yeah, obviously the policy would be attached, and it'd be open to you to discuss your experience with the funding needs in the community. There are a number of exclusions, as you're all aware, and so they can be reviewed. Thank you, Chair.
Just, and again, just on that also, just looking at the level of application that is needed for that matter, I'd like there to be consideration for, because it is a lengthy application for some community groups who may only want to apply for $1,000 or less at times. So maybe that's something that could be reviewed too, an easier application for those very small requests as opposed to the larger ones of $9,000.
All right, well, we'll discuss that in a briefing. You'll bring, yep. Thanks, CEO. Thank you. Councillor Madsen online, have you got anything to add to the discussion?
No, not on this item.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnick and Councillor Martin?
I'm good, thanks, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's all, everyone online, everyone in the room and online. Councillor Madsen? Councillor Johnick?
Affirmative.
Councillor Johnick? Oh.
Affirmative. Did that come through? Sorry.
No, it didn't. And Councillor Martin?
All good, thanks.
Thank you, great. That's unanimous and carried. So we move on to item 4, which is the report of the Sport and Recreation Advisory Committee that happened on the 23rd of April. Do we have any questions for any of the relevant officer? I'll move that report. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Antonelli, thank you. Discussion. I'll just note when we were in that meeting, we had a really good discussion. The relevant officer, Mr. Stewart, gave a really good, robust view on where all of our sports clubs are sitting. It was a great insight, and knowing where our deficiencies are or opportunities lie. And I was just, I was so sure that we were going to be supplied with that spreadsheet. So I have been talking to the general manager, and it's in train that councillors will be supplied with that document.
Yeah. Thank you. I would concur with that, Chair, also, and thank you to Mr. Stewart. He is a wealth of knowledge and it extends beyond being across our assets here. He absolutely has his finger on the pulse in South East Queensland, what other councils and sporting clubs are doing with their assets. So always find his advice very helpful.
Oh, I was just truly thinking looking at it, it was such a good insight into the clubs, just seeing where, and for us, potentially going into bat for a couple of the clubs, just knowing where they sit, before we even come to the offices, it gives us a little bit more knowledge to
absolutely
engage with our clubs.
And compares how we sit compared to our peers at local government or other large sporting codes. I always find that really helpful to know if we're behind or, a little bit ahead of the curve compared to other councils. But we obviously all experience the same challenges, not enough open space, not enough indoor courts and just limited resources. Yes,
and also noting that, the other councils, their sports clubs are wanting to encroach on our good nature, but so if we know where we're sitting, we can be quite up to speed quite quickly. Councillor Madsen, anything else to add?
I just wanted to thank members of the advisory committee, and I think we even had some observers turn up for their contribution. It was a pretty easy meeting to chair because everyone was so engaged with the topic, and if we continue on that trajectory, I think we're going to get some really good outcomes for sport and recreation assets across the city.
I totally agree with you, Councillor Madsen. I thought that meeting was very well handled, and also the contributions from everyone in that room. I think we could have gone on even longer with that meeting, but and that shows what a robust sort of dialogue everyone was having in that meeting. So yeah, thank you everyone that was part of that particular meeting. So anyone else online want to contribute? No? Okay, so I'll put that.
Good, thanks.
Oh, thanks, Councillor Martin. Okay, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour of that report? That's everyone in the room. And online, Councillor Madsen,
Affirmative.
Councillor Johnick,
Affirmative.
Councillor Martin.
Affirmative.
Great. That's unanimous, carried. Sorry, move on to the. So I move on to item 5, which is. One more. Oh, just one more. Our libraries. The Libraries and Customer Service Advisory Committee. That happened also on the 23rd of April. So do we have any questions for the relevant officers? No, I'll move that report. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Doyle, any discussion on that? Anyone online want to? Councillor Madsen?
Yeah, Chair.
Yes.
Just some brief comments. So again, the main council officer in the room was Ms. Chandler, who did a sensational job with her report and presentation. And again, just wanted to thank everyone for their input and sort of engagement with the meeting. This advisory committee is trying to sort of get everyone up to speed and on the same page about where our libraries are at and collectively where we want our libraries to be at into the future. So again, very happy with the progress of this advisory committee and thank everyone for their input.
Oh, totally agree. Another really good committee meeting that we had on this one as well. Lots of interactions from each councillor from different divisions on there. So I thought it was a very good meeting as well, Councillor Madsen. Anyone else online? No? Okay. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's everyone in the room. Online, Councillor Madsen.
Affirmative.
Councillor Johnick.
Affirmative.
Councillor Martin.
Affirmative.
Great, that's unanimous and carried. Move on to notice of motions, which there's none. Matters arising, none. Questions and general business, which there is none. What's the time? I'll move that the next meeting comes back in 10 minutes, which is the Economic and Cultural Development Committee, which is 47, sorry, I can't even see that little one. 47. Thank you everyone for attending this meeting.